World War II was the largest and deadliest conflict in human history. From 1939 to 1945, it spread across continents and oceans, involving more than 100 nations and causing around 60 million deaths. The war reshaped the global map and laid the foundation for today's international order. After World War I, Germany was forced to sign the harsh Treaty of Versailles. It lost territory, its military was restricted, and it had to pay massive reparations. The German economy collapsed, and public resentment grew. The global Great Depression of 1929 only made things worse. In this context, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party rose to power. Coming to power in 1933, Hitler promised to restore German pride, rebuild the economy, and promoted the idea that Germans were a superior race in need of Lebensraum, living space. He rearmed Germany, openly defying the Treaty of Versailles. Britain and France, desperate to avoid another war, pursued appeasement. They allowed Hitler to annex Austria in 1938 and occupy the Sudetenland in Czechoslovakia. But his ambitions kept growing. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland using Blitzkrieg, lightning war, a fast and overwhelming combination of tanks, infantry, and aircraft. Within weeks, Poland collapsed, while the Soviet Union invaded from the east under the secret Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Britain and France declared war on Germany, marking the start of World War II. Yet, during the winter of 1939–40, little fighting occurred. This became known as the Phony War. In spring 1940, Germany struck again, seizing Denmark and Norway, then sweeping through Belgium, the Netherlands, and France. Within weeks, France surrendered. At Dunkirk, over 300,000 Allied soldiers were trapped on the beaches. In a desperate evacuation, Britain used not only warships but also civilian vessels to rescue the troops, the Miracle of Dunkirk. With Western Europe under his control, Hitler turned toward Britain. To invade, Germany first needed air superiority. The Battle of Britain began. For months, the Luftwaffe bombed London and major cities in the Blitz. Yet the Royal Air Force, aided by radar and extraordinary resilience, repelled the attacks. This was Hitler's first major defeat, forcing him to abandon the invasion. In June 1941, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history, against the Soviet Union. Initially, German forces advanced rapidly, capturing Kiev, Leningrad, and reaching the gates of Moscow. But the brutal winter, stretched supply lines, and fierce Soviet resistance stalled the offensive. Meanwhile, in Asia, Japan pursued its own empire. Already occupying Manchuria and much of China, Japan struck the U.S. Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. The devastating surprise attack brought the United States fully into the war. By 1942, momentum began to shift. In North Africa, British forces defeated Germany and Italy at El Alamein, pushing Axis troops back. In the Pacific, the United States won a decisive victory at the Battle of Midway, sinking 4 Japanese aircraft carriers and halting Japan's expansion. On the Eastern Front, the Battle of Stalingrad became a brutal turning point. After months of fighting, the German Sixth Army was encircled and forced to surrender. Soon after, at Kursk, the largest tank battle in history, Soviet forces crushed another German offensive. From then on, Germany was in retreat. In 1943, Italy surrendered, though German troops quickly occupied the country to resist Allied advances. Still, this marked the decline of Axis power in Europe. On June 6, 1944, the Allies launched the D-Day landings in Normandy, the largest seaborne invasion in history. Over 150,000 troops stormed the beaches, opening a second front in Western Europe. Soon, Paris was liberated, and Allied forces pushed toward Germany. Meanwhile, Soviet offensives in the east relentlessly drove German forces back toward Berlin. By early 1945, Allied armies closed in on Germany from both east and west. On April 30, Hitler committed suicide in his Berlin bunker. On May 8, Germany surrendered unconditionally. In the Pacific, Japan fought fiercely, even as its empire crumbled. The battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa cost hundreds of thousands of lives. Seeking to end the war swiftly, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. At the same time, the Soviet Union invaded Manchuria. On September 2, 1945, Japan formally surrendered, and World War II ended. World War II claimed around 60 million lives. 6 million Jews were murdered in the Holocaust. Cities across Europe and Asia lay in ruins. In its aftermath, the United Nations was founded to prevent future global wars. European empires declined, sparking decolonization across Asia and Africa. Two new superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, emerged, ushering in the Cold War. World War II was not only the deadliest conflict in human history, but also a decisive turning point that shaped the modern world. Its lessons and legacies continue to echo today, reminding us of the devastating cost of war.